All right, Ryan, April the 20th. April 20th, Ryan. I come to you on this Thursday as we have some news. I want to break it to you very quickly, and she wanted me to announce to everybody, don't worry, she will make her appearance for that season in review Monday. Now, our special guest is set for Monday at 10:30, I believe, Ryan. So she is still coming on, but not this week. We had to schedule her for Monday. So, with that said, we will get into the news, Ryan, that we learned yesterday. Lauren Betts, Ryan, going to UCLA. And if you have any other news on these transfer portal or the players that enter the transfer portal, let me know. I don't think I have any words for that last video, and I don't think you do either. We can't appreciate everybody. Obviously, the transfer portal, it may not be important to some people, not that popular to others, Ryan, but it's looking like it's pretty important to the folks in UConn.
Yeah, that was pretty unreal. I mean, the video is still it's still popping off a little bit. I mean, it's at 14K, I think. So, just incredible. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than just thank you to everybody that continues to support us and the channel and continues to watch us. So again, just thank you guys so much. But yeah, today Lauren Betts. A little surprised still on her decision to leave Stanford because, of course, like I mentioned in the transfer portal video, she was expected to play a pretty big role in the upcoming season for the Cardinal, but she decides to transfer after only 1 year with Stanford, and she decides to stay in the conference, in the Pac-12 conference. So she's going to play Stanford about 2 or 3 times every year now, I guess. But she goes to UCLA. And she actually picked UCLA over Stanford coming out of high school. So, I mean, at UCLA, I was looking at their upcoming roster. They already had the best recruiting class for 2022, and now they add Lauren Betts to that list. So UCLA looks like a pretty stacked team coming into this year, already looking like a potential national title contender, if I'm being honest. And they're not only going to be good for this upcoming season, probably for at least the next 3 seasons if they can keep everybody together. So at least on paper, UCLA definitely looks like one of the top teams in the Pac-12 and possibly one of the top teams in the nation.
Yeah, what's your take on very well said. I wanted to get in touch with you very quickly and obviously so everybody else can hear you. What's your take? I always love to hear what you have to say, especially with UConn not making a big move so far that we are aware of as far as the transfer portal is concerned. What's your take on that? And does this Lauren Betts move affect UConn in any way other than the easy answer if they would be on the UConn Huskies schedule, which I don't think, Ryan, I don't think that they are. But I mean, if they would run into each other, and I think it's highly doubtful that I highly doubt they will run into each other in March Madness, but you never know how the bracket unfolds in March. But what is it other than you saying, well, it's either a win or a loss on the regular season schedule? What else is this, with as far as considering Lauren Betts did not go to UConn? How does it affect UConn? And what do you give? What kind of a grade do you give to UCLA? I have to say an A, maybe even an A plus. I mean, we know what Lauren Betts is capable of, and it's that straightforward, Ryan, that UConn did not get her.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be an A plus from UCLA. I mean, especially adding her with all these other recruits, and UCLA has a couple of players coming back. But I don't really think specifically it's going to be a huge problem for UConn, except the obvious answer is, if they play each other. But I just think, all of these players coming in, going into the transfer portal, all of this NIL stuff and all the NIL deals and the possibility of these players making a lot of money while they're still playing college basketball. So I think that's probably the main reason why we've seen so many players just continuing every single year now to just go into the transfer portal and see what happens. But I mean, I think for Lauren Betts, it's definitely a huge new opportunity for her. And I definitely think UCLA's roster just gets a whole lot better. So definitely an A plus signing by UCLA. And a couple other players have also that I saw transferred into new schools. Alana Michaud, hopefully I'm saying that right, transferred to Virginia Tech. Kiki Jefferson goes to Louisville. And I also saw Haley Van Leith went on an official visit to LSU. So if Haley goes to LSU, I again, I don't know what I do if she joins Angel Reese, and LSU looks pretty stacked as well. But transfer portal nowadays is really becoming out of hand with all of these players that are transferring. Because Lauren Betts would have probably had an amazing year this upcoming year with Stanford, but some of these players go into the transfer portal. It's definitely shocking, but with the NIL deal and all these new opportunities, it definitely does make sense.
Definitely. And I think that I think this was the player that I had that I really talked about a lot, Lauren Betts, um only because of her coming entering the transfer portal as a freshman. So I talked about that with you. I'm like, man, as long as they can provide some, good depths for well, not depths, obviously she's going to be a starter, but as long as they can provide elite talent for whatever basketball team that they go to. I talked to you about it. I said, Ryan, I'm not calling it a waste of time, but at the same time, would you rather have one of the more talented players that has 3 years left of school, or that's entering their senior year, or is a graduate student? Because when you think about it, now you have 3 years of a very talented player compared to 1 year.
Yeah, and of course that's if they, you can keep them on your team for those 3 years. But I think,
Yeah.
in recent years, I guess it's been more for UConn to bring in these players that are seniors or transfer or
Mm.
graduate students, like we saw with Dorka and Lou Lopez Seneschal, and those two worked out pretty well. But I'm definitely expecting it in terms of talking about UConn. I'm definitely still expecting them to potentially sign a senior or a graduate transfer in the portal, or somewhere where we don't know. We don't even know a lot about the player. Anything's possible when it comes to UConn, but yeah, of course they still have one scholarship, so I'm definitely expecting them to still sign someone. Probably not a big name. I think a lot of people are expecting them to not really sign
It doesn't
a really
matter.
big name
You and
player,
I are
but
it doesn't matter. You and I are waiting on that episode. You have your hands just clenching tightly. You're ready for the thumbnail picture and everything. Don't lie to him now.
I'm ready. I mean, after them
Yeah.
signing Lou Lopez last season, I'm excited for any transfer that UConn gets. That's for sure.
Any transfer. It's that time of year, right? So again, with I'm assuming Haley Jones out the door. Well, she did get drafted.
Yeah,
There did she not? So Haley
yeah.
Jones. And then you talk about now Lauren Betts. Any hope now? Do you see Vanderveer and company, Tara Vanderveer taking a step back as far as Stanford is concerned, or because this is a legendary head coach too, but now, boy, have they lost some key pieces.
Yeah, they have, and I mean, honestly, I kind of expect them to take a little bit of a step back now, even with Vanderveer being a legendary coach, and of course, they're probably always going to get some of the bigger names out of high school and recruits, but possibly making a shot at the #1 seed in March Madness. I really don't see it this year. Maybe they take a little bit of a step back. I'm sure they won't just completely fall off the map, but yeah, I mean, with them losing a couple players to the portal and to the draft, I would definitely expect them to maybe not be as dominant this season.
All right. And again, that was Stanford transfer Lauren Betts commits to UCLA. The 6'7" center was the #1 prospect in 2022, Ryan, recruiting class, and now joins Kiki Rice, who the #2 player, who was the #2 player. So um, again, thank you to that source, to that person providing us that information. From the Los Angeles Times, a tweet on that article. Ryan, let's go and get into some comments very quickly because, hey, Again, we were impressed. And we all know that you are impressed with some of these big names that are in the transfer portal. How about let's jump over to Marcia Clark? It's good to hear from her. We haven't heard from her in a while. She goes, Feliz cumpleaños. Happy belated birthday, Ryan. Hope it was filled with lots of joy and cake. I would love for UConn to get Betts. Rumor is maybe she will go to Iowa. Side note, well, here's this episode now, Ryan Betts. Side note, I know Cameron Brink won't transfer, but I could see her fitting into UConn system very well. We need more bigs. I wish Morrow the best. She deserves it. Can't wait to see where she goes. I don't think she will go with UConn, though. Maybe a Big Ten school. I think Van Leet will go to LSU or Mississippi State with Sam Purcell, former Louisville assistant. And that's that. So a big happy birthday, Ryan, from Marcia Clark.
Yeah, well, thank you, Marcia. And possibly she might predict that Van Lee signing. It's definitely a possibility if she does go to LSU. I can definitely see Anissa Morrow as well going to definitely a Power 5 conference, but the Big Ten definitely is a good shout. Yeah, and Lauren Betts, I mean, I don't think a lot of people really expected her to actually go to UConn, although it would have been really, really nice to see that. But yeah, I think she fits pretty well with LSU, or excuse me, with UCLA. But that would have been pretty insane as well, as she would have went to Iowa to team up with Caitlin Clark. But sure, a lot of people are pretty glad that didn't happen. But UCLA looks pretty good with their signing of Lauren Betts, and Cameron Brink would definitely look pretty good in a UConn uniform as well. And if UConn could get someone her size down low, they could definitely use that for sure.
How about Michelle Lawson? First of all, happy birthday, Ryan. My birthday is in the same month. Second of all, Betts would be a better fit to UConn. You will be getting a 6'7" Olivia, guaranteed Final Four. As for Morrow, 33 teams were after her, but UConn wasn't one. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I think Morrow was gonna announce her top three. I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't think she's announced it yet, but she was going to announce her top three schools. So it's gonna be really interesting to see where Morrow does go, because, like I said, she's gonna make an incredible impact no matter what team she goes on.
Okay, how about time for one more, Ryan? Story Gordon. I doubt any changes will occur. We have 14 on the roster. Adding one will cut into PT for the other 14. And we know Gino doesn't promise players PT or a starting role. My concern is whether any on the current roster will enter the portal. I doubt it, but it could happen. The portal is open until May the 11th. Well, thank you, Story Gordon, for I actually wanted to know that, Ryan. So it's open until May 11th. So thank you for that update. I just don't see it, to be honest with you. I just don't see any UConn Huskies entering the transfer portal at this point.
No, I don't either. And I think the only player that could possibly fit that mold would probably be Amari DeBerry, just with all the struggles that she had last season,
Yeah, but
and the
I want
talent.
to. I'm glad you brought it up, because I was even seeing some comments, Ryan, that there are still, and you and I are. We know she has what it takes. There's still a lot of people in UConn that absolutely believe she has what it takes, and they're behind her back 100%.
Yeah, and I do too, and she could even fill that role with Dorka Juhász leaving. It's definitely a possibility, but I still think she has a lot of work to do. But I think if she puts the work in during this off season, and works with the coaches, and works with Aaliyah and the other players on UConn, I definitely think she can definitely fit that role of the fourth or fifth big inside the starting lineup. So hopefully she doesn't transfer, but with all the struggles, I could definitely see it as a possibility.
Hold on, I saw one more special name, and I couldn't leave him out. Jason D'Amico goes, at Ryan, happy birthday, you mutton. We need a Cameron Brink. Other than that, bringing in more big stars might disrupt the flow of Page and AZ. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Too many cooks. Peace.
Yeah, that's a good point because, I talk about sometimes about building superstar teams and how I don't like them. So I think at some points
Oh, come on. You're a fan of that, aren't you?
no, no. But yeah, I do think at some points you bring all these big names, the top players on the team, and half the time it usually doesn't work out. So I think UConn's at a really good place right now, but I definitely would like to see them get one final player, one final piece to the puzzle, to fill the role, to fill the loss of Dorka Juhas.
I know that it makes me think about very quickly. Just last night when you and I rode the metro together on our trip, man, I was impressed. This gentleman had to be at least 70 or 80 years old, and he knew all about building superstar teams. And boy, did that get Ryan fired up in the Metro Center. How about that?
Yeah, anytime I hear about super teams, it really it really does get me going.
All right, Ryan, that's it for now. And again, have a good weekend. Farewell to you until Monday. I'm looking forward to that Monday morning. Hopefully, no more cancellations from us or from her, but we understand it's tough. It's tough to work around everyone's schedule. Ryan, again, enjoy this time of the year, man. We talk about it all the time. NHL, NBA. Oh, my goodness. It is sweet. Enjoy yourself, Ryan. I will see you next week.